Welcome to the Women's History Month Georgia Poetry Society open mic. So I'm going to turn it over now to Candice, Kelsey, and she's going to introduce me.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a good evening. We're excited to celebrate Women's History Month with the Georgia Poetry Society. And I'm ready to introduce Sharon Schroeder. Sharon graduated from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, where she majored in communication and minored in drama. She received a teaching certificate in speech, drama, and English from the University of Central Arkansas. She co-founded the Columbia County Literary Arts Guild. She is retired from Augusta Technical College from teaching English and reading. She edited the AUSA Quarterly at Fort Gordon for 6 years and published her poetry book, Saltwater Blues, Snapshots of a Military Family.
Thank you very much. And now I get to introduce you. Candice Kelsey is a poet, educator, and activist here in Augusta. She is the author of Still I Am Pushing and a girl/woman/teacher/poet, for which she has been nominated for the 2023 Georgia Author of the Year. So we're very, very proud of Candice. She has 2 chapbooks and a 3rd full-length collection releasing in March. She is a finalist for the Iowa Review Poetry Contest and Best of the Net. You can find her at Candice-Kelsey, Kelsey -7 at Candice Kelsey 1. All one word.
Well done. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, I had the pleasure of collaborating with Sharon to craft a poem that we felt would encapsulate where we stand for Women's History Month. And did you want to explain a little bit of your vision for this poem, or should we just?
Well, it might be a little bit for me to define.
Okay, sure.
But
But it was the first time I've collaborated on a poem, and so I was honored to do it. Yeah, and it was really
so was I.
Quite a joy. So I'll read for you our poem, and it's called Ekphrastic Imaginings. Metronomic search incomplete, a laser show of decades in semi-darkness. Aha, there it is, but progress keeps escaping. Like our collective cries, we sigh at the big screen as 1977 projects female awakening. Yet, in searching for Mr. Goodbar, sexual agency ends in murder. A magical grasp sometimes stifles, but the want to marches onward and jumps the fence, all fences of gender norms, to defeat our enemies, even fictional aliens, like 1979's Xenomorph. We morph from damsels in distress into the heroes we are. How many begats until control is lost? Though isn't leaving the home a good thing, our careening toward the top, toward the office and the boss who objectifies us on screen 9 to 5 and in reality during the 1980s? We find solidarity and sisterhood, our collective revenge. How many women have reached and found their dream? Celebrate me home and all that. Why does it seem so hard to see the light? Until 2020, when DC Comics projects the best of us, and we cheer for the wonder of other women. Together, we have been running metronomic through no man's land, like a Black Panther striding into 2020. We marvel at the changes and burst through the semi-darkness. We shine.
Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if anybody has anything else, another poem to share about women's history, about what it means to you, we're open to that. That's what this open mic is all about. We want to hear from you. Now you've heard from us. Okay, and if you have any questions.
Yeah. So you all collaborated on this.
Mhm.
Yes.
Screen, but so you said it was about a movie. There was a movie about Mr. Goodbar?
Well, yeah, back in the 70s, back when I was in college, there was the first movie that I remember seeing about the women's movement per se was Looking for Mr. Goodbar. And it was a dark movie, but it started the beginnings of the awakening of people of my generation to the women's movement. How a woman has control of her body. That was one of the big themes running through the movie. How women were treated in the workplace. That was another theme running through the movie. And I think what was addressed but not well was how we're supposed to take responsibility for our own lives.
Mhm.
Not only our own lives, but the consequences
Right.
of our own lives. And it ended in murder. The main character was killed in the end. So I think that was like it was almost like a morality play,
Right.
you know? And
So I took that idea and I said, why don't we kind of run through the decades of movies that were empowering for women, from that, starting with that movie to now. So we tried to touch upon 9 to 5, Aliens, Wakanda Forever, Wonder Woman. Yeah. So
yeah. And so you may not see it, but I have seen it through the past 50 years. I'm sort of giving my age away here, but it's like an impetus. The ball is rolling, and women have come so far. They really have. I have seen it. So I think about my sister, who's 6 years younger than I am, she's exemplary. She exemplifies what a woman can do. My daughter-in-law, my friends, they have all taken part in this awakening of women to what they can do. And we don't have to be relegated to a certain job. We can do anything that we want. So I'm really happy about that.
well said.
Great, awesome. Yes. So I'd like to share
Okay.
and just want to say hello to everyone. And I am so happy to be here celebrating women. And also, if you are not already a member of Georgia Poetry Society, I'm going to say it like they say it in church. Our doors are open. So do join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
So talking about women tonight, there's one woman that really changed my life and transformed my thinking, to say. It's for Bishop Dr. Barbara Lewis King, who was at Hillside International Truth Center here in Atlanta for years. She actually founded it. So I did this poem for her in 2006, and I want to share it because she was a very powerful woman and very influential and heartwarming. So the name of the poem is Transforming Me. Excuse me. I know that I am spirit. This realization means so much. It has affirmed with your words and with your loving touch. Your teachings have transferred so many of us to a new way of thinking, one that we can trust. I give thanks to God for Hillside in you, always reminding me of what my heart knows is true. That love is the beginning, the middle, and the end, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you've been. I've found a home here in this inspiring and glorious place where the joy of the journey can be seen on every face. Oh yes, this is the place where I as spirit will stay, receiving all that is good day after day. I thank you for transforming me by opening up my eyes and helping me to see that the God that lives in you is the God that lives in me. Thank you.
Oh, Rose, thank you for that inspiring poem. That was beautiful, just beautiful.
Thank you.
It touched my heart. It really did.
Thank you. If I can, one more.
Sure.
Okay. This is for the National Coalition of Negro Women. Years ago, they had an event called Crowned, where everybody wore beautiful hats. It was a fantastic event. And I wrote this poem for that. This I call, I Crowned You. Women, no doubt, was a pleasure to build. Our very essence was the product of his will. Bodies so strong, lean, the things we say are the things we mean. Don't test us, my child, or disobey our word, because we won't stand for mess, and this I'm sure you've heard. Our hearts are tender and true to our souls. The lessons we share are more valuable than gold. Far too much has been placed upon our heads, some things we love and others we dread. We have fought for so long to gain our rights. Days seem dark, yet we reached for the light. Mothers, teachers, and doctors we be, and still our true worth you may not see. Look closer, I tell you, into our eyes. See our struggles and pain. Now look deeper and see how we rise. Women we are, and oh, what a treat, crowned with his blessings from our heads to our feet. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. That,
Thank you.
so good. I just have a question. When you're writing a poem like this, and it's like a melody, the way the words that you choose and everything and the way you rhyme it, is there a special protocol, I guess?
Yeah, well,
That's
I
not
think
what I
that comes, you know, honestly, I think it comes from me being a singer.
Okay.
Music is everything. I'm very passionate about it. So maybe inadvertently, my poems sound like songs. So thank you for that insight.
Oh, well, it comes through loud and clear.
Thank you, Sharon.
There's some words that go beyond themselves, that that even if I've heard the rhyming words at the end, it's not the words, it's really how you put them together. And
Mhm.
I feel like you have a place where you can go beyond, and I will just take it in.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I feel that. Thank you.
Well, I have two little ones. They're all little ones. It's a short attention span. I wrote a book, and each poem is no more than a page. I say, it won't hurt to read it. I say to my non-poet friends, because everything's short. It says sunbonnet. She carries her youngest one under the sunshine down to where the foaming ocean receded this morning, stranding life at land's edge with the pebbles. The last opaque wave left jellyfish in brown braids shed from the heads of sea maidens. For these mushroom bulbs rode to shore in the sargassum beds and kept to net in the coast. She bends to point out a prohibited bubble, gripping ribbons of ruffled gulfweed. Lungs in its limbs cease begging and begin drying till high tide. Adjusting him on her hip, she moves along and wishes he would never have to see that she can't save every suffering thing, that we shall all eventually die. Thank you. I know a lot of us were blessed to be raised by our grandmothers and great grandmothers, and everyone who came before them that we may not even ever meet. And so I find I keep writing books to my grandmothers, which is which is a good reason to write a book.
Well, it is.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So, this is the second one I'll read. This is Ascent. Last visit, I assisted her climb to her lonely upstairs, past gray eyes in hall frames. We sat again on Dad's old bedspread, where Mum once kissed her kids to sleep, praying over them confidence to live out their own beliefs. This visit, I speak sweet into her ear, in her chair at the edge of her span from first breath to death. Yet soon they will carry her to where he waits. She'll take her place, and I will plant myself deep between the soles of her hands. For the remainder of my own days, I'll hold vigil to her life in me that sewed home my value, so I will always know I too am worthy of love.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I can tell that you feel that one. You
I'm
feel that
like,
one.
putting on it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes.
What about what's going on in Augusta?
I mean, who you are?
Oh,
Yeah.
I am a mere mother, poet, and teacher. There are many people, many of my peers are doing exciting professional things. This is the time in my life where I'm homeschooling my son. He's finishing up 11th grade with me, and we have learned so much. Turns out 11th grade is much more exciting the second time around. 9th grade was cool too. So I've learned so much, and he's ready to go back to school, which is, but I can't homeschool the child forever. So my point is that what I'm doing right now is just educating myself. And when you're not writing, you're living so that you can write about it. So that's where I am right now. I'm just living.
Yep.
Living
Very
sounds
good.
ambitious at this moment.
Very good.
Easier said than done.
Is someone gonna read there? I'll go next.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, let me introduce Lucinda. Lucinda is the president of the Georgia Poetry Society. Lucinda and I have known each other and been great friends since what, the 2000?
I was gonna say, since our kids were in 11th grade or
Yeah.
go back way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's a dear person, and I'm going to let her read her poetry right now.
Thanks, Sharon. Well, here's the thing I wanted to add. What Catherine failed to mention was that when in the early days of Augusta's poetic history, she was the lady who was down at was it Mad Dog Cafe?
Studios.
Yeah, Mad Studios downtown. She was the woman who basically started the active poetry scene here in Augusta. And we are thrilled to have her here today. She's been, before she went out and started doing the motherhood thing, she was the poetry scene. And so we're just honored to have you here today. Well, I'm going to get on to reading my poem. Some of you may not know, a couple of years ago when I was going through a moment with my young children before I think it's like the Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon period, somewhere there. Somebody asked me to get involved in poetry. And so I actually published, this is the first book I published with my children. And it's the first book of a six-part series of poems and short stories that I publish. This was during a period where I thought, and I was like 30. Can I get away with that? I was 30 and I was feeling like I was middle-aged and everything. So I jotted down some thoughts here. Some of them sound kind of interesting at this time, but when you told me what the program was about, I thought I'd read this one. And it's titled New Attitudes. Today's society has fallen into a shattered and torn shadow of what once was. In a male-dominated world, the reason for this is simple. Some men say women are refusing to stay in their proper place. They would, heaven forbid, work and make contributions to our world. They want to have voices which are all their own. They no longer find comfort in being wives and mothers only. These patriarchs believe that they have bestowed upon women the greatest of honors, to be kept and cared for, to appreciate the importance of unwavering service. Some women say, I will serve, not as a sacrificial lamb, but in partnership, a dynamic relationship that strives for the betterment of all. These are the new rules of engagement. How does this new attitude affect the innocent bystanders, our children? Depends on the child's gender. Boys can now say, it's okay to share all aspects of my life, to be a partner in spirit and through my actions. Girls can now say, I don't have to feel guilty about trying to have it all. Both genders are learning by example that a person's place in the world is determined by choice, not gender. Does that make for a decline of our society? No, that would be the job of television.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Yeah.
Somebody else who wants,
I don't know. Marion, is there somebody else on board?
There is Barbara. Do you want to?
Okay, Barbara, you wanna join in and share with us?
I'd love to. May I now?
Sure, sure.
This was written in 2003, and my friend heard this, and she's the one that encouraged me to write. And before she died in 2016, I told her I would try to do that. And it's called, I'd Like to Leave Me. I'd like to leave me, but where would I go? The outside and inside, they both each other know. I'll just be around here if I really need me, wrapped up in an attitude, a feisty me to be. I'm having a breakup. I'm reaching for the stars. Forget all that nonsense. So-and-so is from Mars. I'll chart my diva course, just morals to follow, make a new effort and try to save $1. I'm walking in footsteps left on my heart and soul. I'm going to kick butt, be I ever so bold. Not you'd like me to be. I'm free of your judgments, for I know God likes me. Out I'll go tomorrow. I'm facing life anew, relearning how to live with me without you.
Barbara,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Such a good reading too.
yeah.
Well, I wish I recorded. I recorded y'all, but I didn't record me, so I don't know what I sound like, but thank you. For
Well, we're here to tell you sound great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like the part where you're walking in the footsteps left on your heart and soul. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I write very lowbrow. Nothing is obscure in what I say.
Yeah, I understood it all perfectly. Yeah. It was not a question.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, if
Okay,
you.
sure, I'll
sure.
read one. This one is a little more abstract than concrete, so bear with me. And this is a contrapuntal poem. So contrapuntal meaning what I have come to understand it meaning for this poem at least is can be read up and down across from bottom to top, however you want to read it, and it has different fragments of meaning that all come together. But I'm going to just read it standard top left to right to bottom. And this is called Aerodynamic Lift. Now, just quick background. I've never understood how flight works. I don't get it. I don't care what what physics you give me. It doesn't make sense. I still fly, but I will never understand how a 200-ton, vehicle could be in the air. So I use that as analogy for being a female body in the world. Aerodynamic lift. No one can explain it. Neither you nor mathematicians nor aerodynamicists have consensus, the equation incomplete, leaving the gap in understanding still open. And yet millions, even you fly, boarding the sky, not questioning ever the physics for fear of falling, or knowing how 200 tons of metal bird can remain airborne like your body, a dysmorphic mass metal bird which remains airborne, not flesh. You fly for fear of failing or attempting to meet the wind between the gaps, losing its boarding pass, flying inverted, curved, yielding, sky of misunderstanding, close to untying the knot of nor, neither. At every family gathering, strange calculations, who can explain it? Judging eyes take aim, enough vacuum remains, no one, arrows die, name, fat, you, sister, manage the impossible, a life.
Wow.
Really cool.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay,
You
well,
really
thank you.
did.
I'll take that compliment.
I think it's interesting, you said it's more abstract than concrete, and I'm looking over, it's a concrete poem.
It is a concrete. It is shaped like an airplane.
But
Yeah.
it's also very constant is the mix of the idea of, well, the abstract floating in the air, but very clearly a concrete, concrete in its literal form is not what I'm going for, but it's concrete as in, you talk
The
about the bird.
analogy of it
Yeah,
is concrete.
Okay,
Metal
right. Metal bird.
Pretty darn existing in this dimension.
Right,
I like
right.
that.
Oh, that's great. That helps me see it in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
How many ways have you written it? 'Cause I
Oh,
love
okay.
that.
Yeah. So it can go, you can go, I'll just show here. Looks kind of like an airplane. So you can go across, or you can go down each of the three ways, or you can actually go up. And it still has different meanings, but it's still at the core about how difficult it is to live after you've heard toxic body messages all your life, just as I don't understand how a plane can fly.
There's only one other poet who I know who does that. And what is his name? Timber. It's a brother. Glasses.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a book called I think it was Olio. And I
Oh,
saw
Tanahami, where Tana, oh, no.
You know what I'm
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's big on the contrapuntals.
Yeah, well, but in the middle, how does it sound in the middle?
Oh, in the middle, do you want to hear just the down the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, Ta-Nehisi, is that who you're talking about? Yeah, Google him because he's phenomenal. No one can explain it, neither you nor the equation and understanding. You fly the physics of metal bird like your body, metal bird. You fly between the gaps, yielding, nor neither. Who can explain it? No one. You, sister, manage the impossible, a life.
Woo.
It's just perfect, but you know, Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's Coates, right?
I'm not sure.
Kate's-
It's a test. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm wrong. I'm getting it wrong. My apologies.
I bought the book.
And then there's a few other poets who do a really nice job with the contrapuntal, but it's a little variation of that. I can't remember their names either. But thank you for
We
the
flew
positive.
to Australia once and looked at the sunset for hours.
Well, no, it was so
That's
funny
gotta be-
because
oh,
everybody
it-
went to the left side of the plane and,
Sure.
you know, it's like we went like this. We were all looking out the window at the sunrise.
Are there any other readers you think?
I don't know.
Would y'all want to read more?
I did not bring my book with me. I think it's in a car.
Tayahimba Jess.
There it is.
My
yeah.
apologies, getting him mixed up with someone else.
Yeah.
Tayahimba Jess, yeah. And
He-
Tarfia Faizullah and Sarah Cooper also do a lot of that, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, he was in Decatur and he had it up on a big screen and he read it.
That's him.
backwards, forwards, upside, I mean.
Oh, fun.
I mean, I can't even imagine what it took for you to put that together and then to make it the shape of an airplane.
Yeah, it was a lot. But no, he's a master for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else want to share? My book is out in the car. It's not even with me.
I have one. Can I do, you have somebody else or?
Well, no,
We'd love
Jim's
to.
just run and get my book out of the car.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yes,
okay.
please,
Wow.
please, Rose.
Yes, Rose.
Okay. Okay.
It's
I,
about
this,
the flap
this is my book that I'm reading from. Let Me Touch You Through Life Seasons.
Yeah,
But I wrote this one for women who were in a program that taught them how to go back to work. And it was a training program. So I wrote this for them. It's called Take the Journey. Sometimes we start out in a different place. No matter how hard we try, we lose the race. Days can be long, yet sunny and bright. You'll find yourself praying all day and then again at night. Learning new things and being told what to do can be really tough, but look at what it's done for you. You are a strong woman with strength to grow. Lady, you can fit in wherever you go. So take this journey and give it your all, because what's most important is that you answered the call. Thank you.
wow. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
And you know what? Sometimes we all need encouragement like that,
Mhm.
that we really do.
I
So-
would love that. poem,
Those women
Rose,
are
on a
so lucky to
poster or
have you in
something
that
in my
group.
room
Can
to wake
picture
up to
that.
and read that
Yeah.
every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a very short one.
Oh, okay, Barbara.
It's, wait a minute. Someone, wait a minute, someone go ahead of me and then I'll come. Let me get it.
Well, I'm still waiting on my book. My husband ran to the car to get it.
I'll do one real quick.
We've got
Okay.
Catherine.
Okay,
and we
because
got-
I'm gonna do,
Lucinda.
I'm gonna do rebel work, because that's where I was when I was really writing this stuff. This poem is titled Full Circle. I saw you today after many years. You look the same, except you now have a few more wrinkles and pounds. You immediately recall an act of injustice performed by your hand against me. I struggle to recall the details. I forgive you again. You want to make sure everything is okay now. You ask again how it's going. You insist that I come by and visit. You ask again if I am still mad. Everything is fine, for you see the injustice did not hinder me. It did not deter or deflate the focus of my goal. It only took you and your contribution out of the equation. To see now that forgiveness and forward movement were indeed the right action, there is now confirmation that all actions, words, and deeds become a part of a lifelong circle that eventually revisits each of us. Our reactions upon the revisit are based purely on what lessons we may have learned. This day brings new insight. You have a conscience, and I the capacity to forgive.
Ooh,
I work with a lot of women in domestic violence.
Yeah.
We call it military veterans who suffer from sexual trauma. And a lot of these are the types of poems. This is what you hear when you gather them and ask them to share. Just write it down and, you know, we'll share the words.
that was beautiful.
No,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
very moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the honor of judging some of that poetry,
Yeah.
and I cried reading it. I really did. It
Yeah.
was powerful, very powerful.
We're up again at Charlie Norwood. I got the
Yeah.
call. So
Oh,
anybody
did
who
you?
wants to
Oh,
judge,
okay.
Yeah,
I'll judge.
yeah,
Love to judge.
okay, yeah. I was gonna say, let me tell you about that. For the last 5 years, I've been working with the Charlie Norwood VA, And every year, we work with MST veterans, the military sexual assault victims. And what we've done is we've asked them to write poems about their experience. It's usually based on a theme from the military. And I got the call today because they believe them now. There was a period when we first started that there was so much shame. There was so much. I mean, these people were tortured, but now it's a totally different day. And so we judge the poetry, and we actually are going to do a live performance on May 19th of this year. So you all are welcome to come if you'd like to judge. You'll be crying. It's very powerful.
You really will.
So,
Yeah.
are you ready? Oh, okay, here comes Joe.
Well,
It was
great.
given to me as a prize
Oh,
at the Augusta, when it was ASU, they had a, you know how they did their, they haven't done it well, their Sand Hills Writers Conference.
yeah, I used to be, that was me. Yeah, I used to be there every year.
Yes, until they stopped.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I want to read a poem about my grandparents.
Show your cover.
Oh,
Beautiful.
here's my book. And this was done by a friend of mine. She is an art teacher out in California. And these poems I wrote over a 27-year period when my husband was active duty in the Army. I wrote a poem at every duty station we ever went to.
So cool.
But like I said, I want to read this poem about my grandparents. If I can find it. It's called, let's see, Remember When. I can't. No, Remember Me. No, that's not it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that can't remember the titles of what they write and what. It all made me feel.
Struggle is real.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Let me see. Stuttgart, Fort Gordon, Fort Bragg, Conway, back when.
Back when.
16. Okay. So this is about my grandparents, and they lived in Benton, Arkansas. And they're like everybody's grandparents. They're wonderful. And I just loved staying with them. But the title is Back When. And I wrote, Grandma was usually waiting for me on the porch. She would cup my chin in her hand and exclaim I was the prettiest little girl in the world. She had 3 girls of her own, so I always figured she knew what she was talking about. Grandma wasn't sophisticated, and her house certainly wasn't fancy. My grandpa had built it back when sturdiness was in style. I used to love to go exploring through the house and stand in awe of the calendar picture of Jesus on the wall in the living room. At night, I could hear the mice running through the bedroom walls, and I would snuggle down until the musty smell of the quilt would leave me gasping for air. My grandparents were simple folk who lived back when you didn't have to know interesting people or have lots of things or money. Grandpa is dead now, but Grandma still lives in the same sturdy house with the picture of Jesus on the wall above the lamp.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
I've changed my mind since I heard what y'all read. I'm not gonna I don't want to read the one about women. Can I change and read one about 9/11?
Sure. Why not? That's great. Yeah, I'm just so glad that we're all sharing. We're women that are sharing together. So that's the theme for tonight.
Well,
So
I wasn't prepared for this, but thank you for letting me participate. This is called That Day. You're just watching TV, then a horror you see. It's beyond comprehension. That can't be. It just can't be. Eyes should see things lovely, not what they saw that day. If we turned off the programs, would the images go away? Some will never forget the smell, the scene, that sound, agonizing reality, not all loved ones would be found. Not found, but they're not lost. In God's memory, they're kept. For he has felt what you feel and seen all the tears you've wept. God understands your doubts, your anger, and your fears. Remember, in the future, he will wipe away all tears.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Catherine, you want to do it again?
Yeah, I would.
Miss
Mine.
Catherine.
Thank
We
you.
got about, what, 6 more minutes left?
Okay, well then we'll do the short. This is Mirror. She finds her firstborn son. He appears in her MySpace search the day he completes his childhood. They share a cigarette on her front step and quit together soon thereafter. They discuss his NA meetings, what it's like to be an 18-year-old high school junior. She explains her hospitalization last summer, how it surprised her to regress at 32. He leans in to wrap arms around her shoulders, sun icing over behind tree fringe, smoke sky sliding into horizon. They wear knit hats and both always sensed it, this bond beyond first sight.
Sharon, I got one really quick. I did this with my
Fantastic.
daughter, I did this with my children, and just listening to the different generations here. My daughter Jessica wrote her very first poem here, after and I put it in this book. And she knew I was reading it today, so don't anybody tell her. She was just, you did that, mama. But anyway, it's called Laughter is Like. Laughter is yellow like a sunny day with light shining on you. Laughter is like a happy dog, tail wagging. It flies through your soul. It reminds me of the time I saw my mom walk into the room. It made me burst with joy.
Beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah, and so I had this translated into Chinese. And if you go to our channel, Accentuated Reader, you can actually hear this in Chinese.
Chinese. Both of her kids are just
Jessica,
really
Jessica Clark.
outstanding.
Well, she's not here now.
Does she
She's
speak Chinese or?
no, but that's something we worked out. so.
Oh, okay, that's.
But I
really
just wanted to
interesting.
share.
Did she write that or did you?
She wrote
That's
this.
beautiful.
Jessica
Just
wrote
now.
this when she was young. And this is our first, this book, you all told the story of your book. This is the
I've got that
first
book.
book of poetry that I've ever, first poetry I ever wrote with my kids and added their poetry to it. And,
Beautiful. Is
yeah.
that so, wow.
Yeah. That's why it all sounds so radical. All the stuff I've read, I was an angry woman.
Oh, no.
Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong
I'm
with
mellow
that.
now, chill, very chill. But anyway, so did you want to close us, Sharon? Because this is awesome. You have really,
Oh,
touch
well,
yourself, please.
let's
Want to do
see.
a last poem? to
Yeah,
close us?
close us
last-
out.
One
Yeah.
last poem.
Sharon,
It's
yeah.
right.
Go.
I have
Go.
written a poem about retirement and I wrote this in a classroom at Augusta Tech right before I was thinking about retiring.
Wow.
And so anyway, I wrote the poem. It's called Chasing Dreams. Poetry has more zing than writing ordinary prose. No punctuation, sentence structure, or grammar correctness to deal with. End that thought with a preposition or dangle that modifier. But poetry ages with time, like a loaf of stale bread or lumpy milk. It can be subjective, like the first time, or ethereal, a real spiritual experience. What do clouds taste like? Are eyes dark pools? Describe $1,000,000 or a sore knee. Teaching is safe and understood by millions. Writing is an unknown. Teaching can be profitable and sometimes noble. Writing never is. To be a writer is to lose your grip on reality. Maybe that's what I'm afraid of.
Cute.
That's a great one to end on. too.
Yes,
Now I know what's wrong with me.
Sharon, awesome, awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
I have really enjoyed this, ladies. Fantastic, Sharon. Thank you so much. The
Oh,
opportunity
you're
to be
welcome.
with
We
women
enjoyed you too.
share.
Thank you,
Yes,
Ro.
it's
All
a
your
privilege.
poetry that you
Yes,
shared with
thank you.
us.
Thank you. And I sent a message. I was trying to get in contact with Catherine. So Sharon, let me know how we can connect. Catherine?
Okay.
I will connect with you as I've seen your name. I'm
Okay.
going to find
And I
you.
will give her your information, because I have
Please
it.
do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice meeting you, ladies. Let's do
Nice
it again. Let's do it again.
Again.
Yes, yes, yes.
I enjoyed tonight. Thank you very much.
Well,
Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
for sharing with us.
Yes.
Thank you, Lucinda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Candice. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, especially Jim
oh,
for getting
shout
my
out
book.
Ah, Joe.
All together.
Yeah.